Good morning to everybody. So I am academic counselor BISWAS IGNOU. So today the course is MMPH009, block number 4, unit number 12 and 13. So let's see what are the contents of the block number 4. That is block number 4 is issues and challenges. There are two units, unit number 12 and 13, international employees relations, and unit number 13 is international HRM trends and challenges. So there are two units to cover all the aspect of your international related matters. So unit number 12, that is the international employees relations. Here actually it has been described about the multinational companies' characteristics and utilizing the power of labor unions and key issues in international industrial relations. Then you have to discuss about trade unions and international relations. Then employers, associations, and the international farm. Then country-specific industrial relations practices. What are the best practices? That also you have to see in unit number 12. So let's try to understand why international relations is needed. Because due to globalizations, the companies needs to focus on local and international workforces, government's policy, then your trade unions' attitudes, etc., influence personal and industrial relations. In short, we are saying the IR policies, then issues regarding the wages, employee participation, training, the dismissals, security and social security are related to a variety of collective agreement provisions and statutory regulations. So why it is now describing basically why it is needed. Basically, because of the globalizations, now we have to see how to run the business with a very smooth way. Another aspect is this is a local culture, and the structure of the industrial relations are also influences on the human resource management in its various subsidiaries. Because subsidiaries, the multinational company, they have more than 2 or 3 subsidiaries also, and there should be aligned, all the culture should be same throughout the organizations and as well as with the subsidiaries also. So there should be one. That's why the human resource management is one of the influential parts there. So different IR practices of the multinational companies across the countries, depending on the situation, demands in the local systems, the IR relations patterns and policies are different country to country. Now, in union's influence, undoubtedly, union influence is very much important on the international IR trade unions. It may influence the strategic choices of the multinational companies in the following ways. What the way it can influencing wage levels, salary, and other compensation package, etc. Then affecting the multinational company's ability to vary the employment levels. That will then restricting the multinational company's discretions of the social dumping. Sometimes, what the way a company wants to go, the policy has to be implemented, but because of the union restriction is there, they have to see their benefits. So all are the influential, or I can say these all are the impact of the international trade. Then what are the characteristics? That you have to see what are the characteristics and how much power the labor unions. Massive financial resources to absorb the losses in a foreign subsidy. Trade unions will stand to lose if they take a inflexible stand. Sometimes because of the union stands, the company will lose the business. So it is one of the characteristics of the multinational company. Opinions to shift production unit to other country. Again, it is by the discussion with the unions. The trade union needs to compromise on certain employment issues and to ensure their employees' interests. They are restricted to things and they will give some opinion also. Okay, they can shift there, but however, this employees will shift, will be joined there and subject to these and these wages or packages or facilities. So this type of things are there. In short, we can say the employees' interest, because trade union, the main objectives is to employees' interest. So they are considering accordingly. They have to. This is the way they have to negotiate with the management. Then distance between the headquarters and subsidiary. This is one of the characteristics. See, because sometimes the subsidiaries are very far away, and the problem arises due to because of the physical distance and some logistic and the supply chain problems are there, and problems relating to different time zones also, because the Europe countries and Americas, the timing is different. So this is also it will affect. So this is all about considering all these characteristics. So international company has to decide and have to see. Now multinational companies' strategy towards the international IR. There is a conflict or the inflexible, uncompromising hostility, because the management frustrates the demands of the union, grants nothing as the benefits, and ultimately the employees do not vote for the union. So these all are the things are there which keep in mind, and accordingly multinational companies has to make some strategy to perform, to increase the growth and to see the welfare of the employees also, and to run the business. Especially for the international industrial relations, it is some sort of challenge also. Now the key issues. What are the key issues in international industrial relations? There is one of the issues is the economic, political, legal systems, and the industrial relation systems of the different nations are different, because economical conditions are country to countries vary. Their GDP and their budget and their all these things are depends. Hence, the multinational companies generally delegate industrial relation management, IR management, to the foreign subsidiaries. The foreign subsidiaries, they are decided what to do based on their economy, local systems, and what are the legal regulations are there. Based on this, how the best options they have to choose. So some of the list, detailed list below is there. Several factors. What are the factors are influenced basically? That is the degree of the inter-subsidiary production integrations. Because different subsidiary are different production philosophy and their target is there. So that has to be integrated. Somewhere it is very high, somewhere it is low, or production is very low, or somewhere it is very weak. So if you are some sort of balance is required. Nationality of the ownership of the subsidiary, that is also one of the key issues. Then international HRM management approach. Earlier also we have discussed so many international approaches also. Here also some of the things based on this, on the legal issues and the other regulations which has impact on the particulars in the subsidiaries that you have to look up. Then multinational companies prior experience in the investigation is very much needed, because without the knowledge of your industrial relations, the HRM management cannot do it. So that's why some knowledge is required, and the experience earlier, they have some experience to have how to run the business or how to build up the international relations in the foreign countries. So that type of knowledge and the experience they should have. And they should aware of the subsidiary aware of characteristics also. So characteristics of the home product market, their zone wise, what type of demand is there, local demand especially, different product range, what are the demands, then management attitudes towards the union, that is also important. These are all we are talking about the issues, the key issues of the international IR. Now, trade unions and international industrial relations. There are several theories out there. As the suggestors explain the variations among the countries. Such theories consider the economic factors such as the wages, prices, and unemployment levels, then your social factors such as the public support for the unions, political factors. So all are, we can say, result basically your economic conditions, because the wage related to economic prices, also it is related to basically the money. In addition to studies indicate that the strategies utilized by the labor management and governments are particularly important. This is as per the BISWAS 1988, as per based on his survey and opinions, it is decided that strategy are there. Based on the studies, it is there. Now, key issue in international industrial relations is industrial disputes. That is one of the main thing. Different type of disputes are there. It may be and the employee interests. Thus, Kennedy, 1980, he has identified the following 7 characteristics of the multinational companies as a source of labor union concern about the multinational. The 7 characteristics that we have to see which are concerned about the labor unions. 7 characteristics, which are the things as the formidable financial resources is one of them. Then alternative sources of supply. Then ability to move production facilities to the other countries. You should have that capacity. You should have. Then a remote locus of the authority. You should have a locus. Your looming or locus should be there so that you can approach the things. Then production facilities in many industries. The response of the trade unions to the multinationals has been threefold. Which are the things? That is the international trade secretaries, that is your ITS. Then we can see the international employees associations. Their union of the industrial and the employers confederation of the Europe in Brussels. The international organizations of the employers, this is the IOE in Geneva, and the business and the industry advisory committee to the OECD in Paris. Then lobbying of the behalf of business and the capital, because the large companies tend to establish strong links with their national government to encourage them to develop a pro-business environment conducive to industrial growth. Because that lobbying is required, because government support is very much needed to establish the productions. I mean, the business. That's why pro-business environment is required. Providing the information for members, the UNIC represents the employers' interest on every issue which the European Union addresses, from the taxes and the training to the energy and carbon dioxide emissions. These are things. Then we have to discuss about some of the country-specific industrial relation practices. Different countries. Now here some of the countries we have selected: Australia, Canada, and some of the India also. So there are some of the countries are there. Different other practices are there. Here actually the Australia, what are the patterns? That is a general description in legal framework, where the workplace regulations and other legislation amendment is there. Everything are all the amendment acts by the government agencies, because every government, every country's government are decided what type of relation should be there, what type of industrial relation practices should be there. The legislation amendment that the Act in 1996, it provides the freedom of the associations and voluntary memberships. Then clauses against the discriminations based on the membership and non-memberships facilities. The establishment of new trade unions for increased competitions. There is a limited right to strike on the lockout during labor negotiations, and strike pay is prohibited. Now then, see the employers. The Australian Chamber of the Commerce and your industry is one of a number of councils of the Australian business associations, that is ACCI. Members are employer organizations in all state and the territories in all major sectors of the Australian industries. Then trade unions. The Australian Council of Trade Unions, that is ACTU, is the national council which represents the Australian workforce. Here actually, in just what I actually try to emphasize the things, you can see comparing the, when we go through the other countries' practices, then you can realize what are the differences are there. So that differences you have to identify, and you have to notate the things, which a country is, what the things are revised, what the things, the laws are there, what are the acts are there. That is the main idea. Now, another level of the wage negotiations. Here actually the Industrial Relations Act is there, that is 1987 to 1988, linked to the decentralization of the negotiations. Here you see some of the things as per the Act, it is written there, and is in practice and implemented the decentralizations of the negotiations. Maybe other countries, they may not agree, or maybe the different rules are there. It may then mediations, conciliations, and arbitrations. These all are the disputes, you can say it. Wage related issues are there, will be there definitely, and there is no statutory minimum wages, but a magnitude, a multitude of the minimum wages for different crafts and the occupations has been defined. Because if this is the situation will be there, then some minimum wages employees should get it. That type of provisions are there. This is defined. Then wage related issues. So there is no statutory minimum wages, but a multitude of the minimum wages for the different craft and the occupation has been defined. Now, general descriptions. So this is the way has been described different. I mean, I can say the parameters are continue conditions. Here actually main things are industry categories, main things the wage related issues, general descriptions, as I showed in the earlier slides, that is the level of the wages, and this is the way you have to, other countries you have to see and compare it. Then employers associations, what type of membership, that is compulsory or not, single business group. Then now we can see other countries. Then it will be more easy. The Canada. Now Canada, that is a general description. You see that the Canadian Labour Code establishes the freedom of the employees and the employer to join trade unions and employers organizations and to participate in legal defined activities. Strikes and the lockouts are not permitted during the term of the labor agreement. So here you see the things are there. In India, it may not be, because India is permission is there. You can go for the strike, go for the lockout, but in their countries, other countries are there, they are not permitted during the term of labor agreement. Because as per the labor agreement is there, suppose the agreement for the 1 year or 2 years or 3 years. So you have to obey, you have to maintain the things as per the law. Then employee involvement. There is no statutory framework for works council in Canada. But in the other country, which I have seen just now in the Australia, there is some act is there, some framework is there. In India is also some council is there, and some framework is there. Then your associations, employer associations, the Business Council of the National Issues represents the interests of the large Canadian corporations. Trade unions, the Canadian Labour Congress, the CLC, is by far the largest trade union federations. The level of wages negotiations, that case, collective bargaining in Canada is largely undertaken at the farm level and is decentralized. So this is the way I just quickly go through the other countries that are France. France, again, there some general discussion we see. The right to employment, no discriminations on grounds of the origin. Just mind it, here actually see the France again is a little different. Here actually, as a learner, as a student, how to memorize all these things, better to just make a table. You can in the top, first column, you can write your Australia, then second is Canada, then France, then India. Then you are main things which the yellow, bolded things, they say wage level issues. These all are the items, distribution part. And you see, right in the country-wise, what are the things? So this is you make some comparison table, and then you can study more, and you can maybe I think clear idea comparison will be there. And just give me some of the clips, some of the things which are the identify the differences. Then you see the employers associations. As per the France, considering the France corporations there, the corporation more than 80 employers associations organized at the sectorial level according to manufacturing, commerce, and services. So that's why the difference is there. That is the main thing. Which are the things? Now I can go for, let's see our India. Yes, in India you see there are international employees relation general discussion. There are about 108 acts. You just see in 2002 so many acts. And second, National Commissions on the Labor set up in 1999 has recommended the following. Which of the things are recommended? There is no prior permission is required for the layoff. As I said, in India there is no need. Retrenchment, no need for any wage board. That is 1999. We are talking about 1999. That time it is recommended. No contract labor for more production services. A trade union with at least 66% membership to single executive company present. Then setting up a grievance redressal committee for organizations employing 20 or more workers. Creation of a high-power national social security authority. These all are the things are listed in the 1999. The National Commission of Labor. Now see the involvement. The Industrial Dispute, the Act 1947, provides for the setting of the bi-party work committees as workers' participation scheme for companies' employment. That there are more than 100 workers. There's a point to be noted here. The 100 workers is mentioned. This is as per the Act. So all these acts has to write down somewhere in a tabular form, and you write as per the Act what the Act says. You can write this thing. Then employers' associations. All Indian organizations of the employers, as the AIOE, has representation from the manufacturing, banking, insurance, commercial establishments. The Employers Federation of India, as you know, is another body which is registered as a trade union under the Trade Union Act 1926. Then your different lot of trade unions are there. Just the AITUC, which is actually set up in 1920. Then your Trade Union Congress, INTUC, Hind Mazdoor Sabha, HMS, and United Trade Union Congress, that is UTEC. There are a few significant unions are there. The level of wage negotiation takes place at various levels, such as your plant levels, industry levels, production levels, and the national levels also. So this is the way it is listed. So many acts are there in a different issues, and some of the things are mandatory for the settlement purposes. Now, some of the relevant questions are there in particular unit. This is discussion the significant issues of the concern of the international IR. Discuss the recent development that you have to explain. Then what are the practices in different countries, Australia, Japan, France, US, UK, India. This type of questions may come, and you have to see which country, which type of act and regulations as far as industrial relation purposes. Then that you have to describe. In what way can trade unions constrain the strategic choices of the multinational companies? Suppose the multinational company, some of these strategic choices they have a lot of options are there. And what the way the trade unions constraints are there. So that you have to explain and from different angles. Identify the four characteristics you have to identify. Then how have trade unions responded to multinationals and have this response been successful? So this is your part of your unit number 12. Now we have to go for unit number 13. That's the international HRM trends and challenges. First, you have to see the business content, then HR response, building of organization's capability, streamlining the HR support functions in HR services centers, outsourcing or insourcing the HR, and different mechanisms for the integrations of all these things. Let's see, understand, see what are the challenges. The major challenge before the organizations today is to remain relevant in the fast-paced, changing business environment. As we know, the changes are very fast now. Earlier, it's a decade because maybe changes are occurred in 5 years or 10 years. Now, every year, even maybe less than that, also the changes are there. Today, what the strategy you have, or what type of business relations you have, you are making, what the strategy you have. Maybe you are considering for 2 years or 3 years, but maybe it may not be. Before that, maybe you have to change your policies. What are your forecasted? Maybe it can continue for 1 year only, and next year again you have to re-engineering or rechange, redesign, or maybe your total structuring changes may be needed depending on the business environment, because business environment are changing very fast. That is one of the challenges. So when you are making some of the strategies or in related to your HRM, maybe you are selected some of the employees for these purposes, but you don't know. Maybe you are forecasting for 2 years at least that should be retained. The employees will be retained. They may need it for the forthcoming projects, but maybe the scenario will change. Maybe you have to job card, or maybe the project may not be implemented that way. Some issues are there, business issues. So that are all dynamic. These are totally changing. Because of the global technologies and other aspect, because of the technology changes, this is impact very much. So in turns, all this environment are affected to your HRM also. Because especially for the international HRMs are difficult. is a very challenging job nowadays. How to tackle the things. So every moment you have to analyze it, you have to diagnose the things and take a quick actions. Transiting to a knowledge-based economy from a commodity-based economy requires a fundamental shift in the way organizations operate, necessitating the challenge changes in organization structures, new way of learning. There is one of the just said bolded, highlighted the things, new ways of learning. Every moment you have to learn, you have to understand the things and see the creativity. This is the art of the business. Basically. If you are not learning or are not creating the things, then you cannot be survived. Main things, another issue is adopting the new technology. Because there is no way out. You have to have a technology based. And transforming the way of organizations attract, retain, and motivate their employees. Now, as we know, there is a COVID-19 crisis that has been disrupted so much. To every company, there are rapid changes that are taking place will be long lasting for the years to come because long time it will take. Still, it is survival mode, but still, a lot of things has to do. Changes in all aspects of the work is inevitable today with innovative business models, workplace designs, new technologies such as AR and VR, your visual revivals, and AI, artificial intelligence. These all are composition of the workforce itself, the mix of the human and intelligent mechanisms. So human has to be equipped, lot of support systems there, take the support system of the technology also and do it as early as possible. You have to adopt all these things. Then only maybe you can cope up the situations. Biggest consequences of the COVID-19 outbreak is the transformation in the way we work. Definitely we have changed our every things. Your flexible timing, work from home, and your shift duties. So everything are new workplace, work-life balance are in between. So future is very different and will provide your employees with a choice of working anytime from anywhere. So all these things are the biggest consequences we have just occurred due to COVID-19. This is outbreak. Now some of the studies there, what are the things are there, what the way the workforce across the different countries and different sectors. IT sectors and the software productions, how it has increased. You see the percentage wise that work volume has tremendous variations of this. Now the HR response. Delivering the value in the above context is the major challenge for the HR leaders. Technology can only help the organizations succeed in the HR shift, their way of working to be more agile and keep up with the space of change. So that's why the HR, therefore, it needs to adopt a much more flexible and the holistic approach. Because when the technology, environment, first world going on, this is a globalization, so all these things are simultaneously going on. So that situations, as the HR personals has to see, they have to adapt much more flexibility and the holistic approach to be there. So organization needs to be started to emphasize on diversity of the personality, emotional intelligence, lived experience, risk aptitude, appetite, neurodiversity. This is another aspect of neurodiversities, imaginations, and adaptability. So all these things are various needed. So how to develop the things? Then proper training, retraining. So all these things are required to develop. So HR has to respond to all these things, and they have to gear up. Basically, the HR people has to gear up to do all these things. Then building organizational capabilities. That's it. So trends of the globalizations, market liberalizations, and deregulations, and technical evolutions, all are, and the restructuring global markets, and the challenging the traditional approaches to gaining the competitive advantage. Is as per the GML 2000 years. Organizational capability, there is a focus on the ability of a firm's international process, systems, and management practices to meet the customer needs and to direct both the skills and the effort of the employees towards achieving the goals of the organization. Means you have to focus on basically to build up their ability, their competency build up for the employees so that they can meet the customer's demands, needs, behavioral way and other way. They have to full satisfaction. What are the services is required that that steps maybe sometimes out of the box you have to do it. That type of gel or energy is required. Skill, basically the skill are upgrading. It's not to upgrading the skills of the employees. That focus should be there. Now, Multiker 2002 he has developed a model of the process skills needed, how to skill to be processed and to provide such development of the capability. There's 5 key resources are there where it is used throughout the process. These all things are that international HR managers can help build up there. That is leadership. Very important. Leadership should be both communicators, knowledgeable, accepted the things, and decisions he can take immediately. Organizational culture is one of these things are required. Organizational culture is one of these platform because culture create a such a good situations where people can perform very smoothly. Their conflict will be less. Belongings will be increased in the company. Information technology, one of the aspects of very MIS, your MIS systems or communications are to be very much required. What the things, instructions are to be followed by everybody or not, or that things are up to the ground grassroots levels, the reach or not, that knowledge are reaching or not, that feedback, looping, is bi-directional communication is required, and what the companies want to do, that should reach to the in the lower levels, in the worker levels also. They should also aware of all these things, what things are going on with the company, what the objectives are there, what the vision are there. So that all the information being the project wise, that type of canvassing or notifications are through proper channel. That different mode of communications are to be adopted within the organizations. Long-term views and the social networking, that is a very important thing, because without social networking, it's a company-related matter, because subsidiaries, what subsidiaries are doing, or even those in the foreign countries, company are there, they have to see the headquarters, maybe locally in other countries. There should be good communications. That networking is required within the local networking plus global networking. Everything are needed. Then only you can assess, basically for the assessment purposes, what are the customers is needed or not, feedback sessions, what are the instructions are coming, that is really useful for the social system or not, really it is beneficial or not. All these things are from the networking system that feedback can be easily, you can abstract. Now, administrative processes carried out separately on the main HR group, central organizations of the HR resources. Administrative functions may be centralized, by the decision making remains decentralized. There, actually, I'm just underlining the things. Just read out once again. That is important. Administrative functions that may be centralized, but the decision making remains decentralized because the local people where the subsidiaries companies are there will be long away, maybe 400 kilometers away from these people, or maybe the different countries. So they are very much aware of their local problems, issues. So that's why they don't wait for the taking a decision or approval from the headquarters. They can take decisions. So that type of decentralizations, basically in the decision-making process, should be there. Technical innovations is another issue. This is a novel. Technical innovation will enable the organizations to consider a much wider range of the HR services on a common basis around the globe. If your network is good, you have a good communication systems, the globalized, easily you can circulate the things. So technical innovations, technical support is very much required for the your common basis work globally. Many organizations install global HR directors. That's why to monitoring there's a country managers, maybe heard some country managers, Asian specific country managers, Europe country managers. Means they have to see the particular maybe 4 or 5 countries. One global manager will be there. He will see directors or managers, general manager, or maybe they are directors. He will look after all these things. This is some sort of extra layer of the things, the reporting structures, in order to create a position that acted as a strategic business partner. So they can overview all these things, what is going on, and where the things are to be take the decisions very meaningful. Now the issue of the outsourcing. As you know, it is one of the very crucial things. Any company to make the budget because to economic conditions. So they are outsourcing the jobs. Again, it is a controversial time to time. Some of the employees or company are not ready to give the order, but sometimes the manpower and the timing and the technology, they are not enough. The existing systems are not enough. So you have to go for the outsourcing for purposes. The source of the considerable debate in recent years, it advocates for the outsourcing HR activities on to reduce the cost is one of the things, increase the service quality produced by the greater economics of the scale, because maybe you are outsourcing some of the work that expertise, that experience or expertise you don't have, that company don't have. So anyhow, we have to give some of the work or project, but those who are very expert in this field, they may be much more experienced. So then they can give a quality work, and in turn, the company will be good enough and accountability is service. So it is increase the access to the experts in the specialized areas. So organizations must make sensible assessment, because all these things has to be sensible assessment are required. And this can keep the knowledge constant. Now, intellectual, what's the mechanism? Because we have how to integrate the things. Because the intellectual, social, emotional integrations play a key role of the work of the international HR managers. So, as a HR manager, international HR manager, so you have to see all these effects. There's a talent management, global knowledge management, then your management through the global networking, enablement of the HR process. So all these processes are really available in the electronically, it is available and not, and to do these things. So some of the mechanisms are there, and that all these things are to be integrated, because the integration part is really important. Now, environment positions there, how to considering the extent, share the service concept to other parts. What are the experiences you have that has to be extended on the business operations, subsidiaries, and satellite companies. So it is expansion is required and is expanded. Now all these things are global. Here actually we are talking about the global farms. From their environment point of view, business environment, but undoubtedly we are talking about here business environment especially. Integrations is across the recently merged or the acquired business and the joint venture operations, where the integration is very much required. Because recently maybe you are a big company, you are not acquired or acquisition through merger or acquisitions, you are in different business in different country. The location is different. They are doing it, but you have merged the things. In that case, the integration is very much required, so that culturally and law-wise, all the things are to be aligned. Maybe earlier it was different culture or different activities were there or different process will be there. But now, so all these process, culturally, everything has to be integrated. Should be in the same functioning. Development will take place and will signal to major shifts in the focus of the HR role, because the HR's main role is development. It's one of the biggest challenge for the HR role. Through the training, obviously through this training only you can only develop it. So training program and different the latest training and different capsules or short term, long term, different way you have to make some of the strategy for the development purposes for the international. HR function becomes both the gatekeepers, the national cultures, advising on which the process can be standardized and which must remain localized, and the knowledge agents who transfer ideas across the business functions and geographically the boundaries and geographical boundaries within the global firms. So all these functions are to be doing and advising to the on which process can be standardized. So you have to make some standard practices, global standards. Now, some of the assessment questions regarding these chapters in unit number 13. That is how the organization capability evidenced in the organizations. How can HR help in organizational capability building? And explain the impact of the shared services models, HR functions. Then, are they going to represent a new force of standardizations or not? HR practices, global basis. This type of questions are. Then outline a few trend of in HR that are going in the impact of the international HRM and suggest the strategies to manage them. This type of questions are likely to be to go through this. So basically here actually both the units are important in the sense of the challenges where international relationship that we have to discuss today, industrial relations, and focus should be there, their local rule and regulation, what are the acts are there that has to be gone through this before starting any production or any company do the business for the business world globally. Their practices is very prime important. Then you have to change it accordingly depending on the customers and local demands. And management trends, what are the challenges for the manpower has to be equipped to develop them so that they can do the work and fulfill the objectives of the goal of the company, keeping in the reputation of the company, and social systems has to be changed because it's to know very much way because you see the any business for the social purposes. That is performing or not, and that focus should be there more and more, and especially for the international business. So these all are the challenges we have discussed, issues are there. So I think now we can close this session now. I think we have to cover up all the topics. So, okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.